All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now, Mike was way over there. All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now, listen, in this video, I wanted to discuss something real quick. I could not print it out because, well, the Darien Times just being a douche about it. So here's the deal. Just wanted to bring this to you. It's going to be a real quick video. Two Connecticut 19-year-olds file a lawsuit challenging state and federal laws denying them a pistol permit. Two 19-year-old Connecticut residents and two gun advocacy groups are challenging the state and federal gun laws denying them the ability to get a pistol permit due to their age, according to a federal lawsuit filed on Tuesday. All right. Zachary Sakow of Seymour and Samuel Town of Norwich are also seeking immediate, temporary, and permanent injunction barring new U.S. Attorney General Pamela Joe Bondi and other federal and state officials from enforcing laws that prohibit 18 to 20-year-olds from obtaining a pistol permit, according to court papers. 18-year-olds are legal adults entitled to all of the rights of a citizen, including the right to carry handguns for self-defense, said Cameron Atkinson, one of the three lawyers representing the men and the gun advocacy groups. It is hypocrisy that our nation to trust them with equipment such as tanks in the military and deny them their Second Amendment right from carrying a gun for personal protection, says Pistol. Sakow has held positions of responsibility in the community, including working as a lifeguard in the Naugatuck YMCA and as a snowboard instructor at Mount Southington. The lawsuit said, Town used rifles and learned about gun safety while he was a member of the Boy Scouts, which is now just called the Scouts, and has taken safety training associated with obtaining a Connecticut long gun eligibility certificate, according to the lawsuit. Both Connecticut men meet all of the federal and Connecticut requirements to obtain a Connecticut pistol permit, except their age. The lawsuit was filed in Connecticut Citizens Defense League and Washington-based Second Amendment Foundation. Good for those groups. It's not just falling on the CCDO, which is good. I'm glad other groups are getting involved. So you should look into those groups and support them. Two other attorneys representing the group, Craig Fishbein, good on you, Craig, glad you're there, and Doug Dubitsky, are Connecticut legislators who also represent the clients in state and federal proceedings. So here's my take on all of this. At 17 years old, you graduate high school. You're old enough to join the military. You go through basic training. You learn how to handle firearms. And just a few years ago, during GWAT, there were plenty of 17, 18, 19, and 20-year-olds serving overseas with carbines, handguns, grenades, laws, rocket launchers, all kinds of things. According to the United States military, more than enough responsibility right there to handle a weapon and go off to war and go do Americans' bidding. But when they come home, and they're in our state, and at the federal level too, they're like, yeah, you can't have a handgun. Why? You're really not responsible enough. Sorry. Even though you're 18, you can vote, but you can't own a handgun. I mean, you can't drink either. But hey, in the military, we'll totally give you all that stuff and you can go off and go do war because you're responsible. But you're not responsible when it comes to that. See, that's the dilemma. As I choke and try and talk. If you're old enough to serve in our military, and you're old enough to carry a gun, you're old enough to go off to war, well, damn it, you should be old enough to be able to also have guns as a civilian. You should also be able to drink, buy tobacco, and do all the other things. If we're asking you to go off and possibly die for your country, well, you should be able to do everything. So if You're not responsible enough as a civilian to own a gun until 21. Would that mean we'd have to raise the age up to you can't join the military until you're 21? I don't know. I think if you're 18, you should be able to own everything. You are a legal adult in the eyes of the law. This is what I liked. Connecticut Attorney General William Tong called the lawsuit a radical challenge to the state's law. How is it radical? You could be a Connecticut state resident, 18 years old. You can't have a pistol permit. You're not responsible enough. But you join the National Guard stationed right here in our state, and they'll give you a rifle and a handgun, potentially, depending on what you're doing, and you fall under the purview of the governor. Because you're ran by the governor. The National Guard falls under the state. So, in that aspect, in that, when you're wearing your camouflage, you're magically now responsible. But when you're walking around with regular civvy clothes, you're not responsible anymore. Tong goes on to say, why are extremists so hell-bent on putting our children at risk? Tong said in a statement, no one wants pistol-packing teenagers. No, but we'll take the teenagers running around the deserts of Iraq and the mountains of Afghanistan with rifles, handguns, grenades, rocket launchers, etc. That's okay. But God forbid they have a handgun here or they're able to carry a handgun. They're only teenagers. Tong also says it's another radical challenge to Connecticut's lawful and common sense gun laws, and they will vigorously defend against it. This is not common sense. This is borderline retarded. You wear a uniform in the National Guard, military, like regular army, all that. You can have all this stuff. But in civilian clothes, nope. All of a sudden, you just become too stupid, too irresponsible to have these guns. That makes no sense, guys. That makes no sense. It's like you're wearing camouflage on post, guarding something. You can have your guns. But when you put on shorts and a t-shirt, your brain just goes to town. It's done. Makes sense. Help me have this make sense to me. I don't understand this. I don't understand how you can have one and the other. They're polar opposites. Either they're responsible or they're not. And if you're saying they're not responsible, then they shouldn't be in the military. If you're saying they're responsible enough to be in the military and have all this equipment and all this responsibility, they should be old enough and responsible enough to also have handguns, rifles, shotguns, etc. as a civilian. Common sense gun laws they don't make any sense. This is absolutely stupid. So good on these kids I call them kids just because I am way older than them. Good on them. I mean, they're adults. I don't want to sound like a freaking boomer where everyone younger than you is a kid. So good on these young adults standing up to the man because it is their right. Hell, if we use, history and tradition, when you were 12 years old, you were an adult 200 years ago. You were expected to take the family's musket and go out there and get some food, go hunting, because you were an adult. Now at 18, we're still coddling you? No. You're an adult. All the rights and privileges of being an adult, you should be able to do adult things. Because if you screw up, they're going to charge you as an adult. And they're going to use it and say, listen, you're old enough to know you shouldn't be doing bad things like that. But at the same time, they're saying, well, people that age are just too irresponsible. You can't have it both ways. One or the other, guys. All right, that's all I have for you in this video. Like I said, it's really going to be short, but I will try and put the link to this article down in the description below. If you've made it this far, you know the usual drill. Also down in the description below is the merch link. Go get yourself some awesome merch. We got dad hats, sweatshirts, t-shirts, mugs, the whole 9 yards. You can do Patreon, locals, become a member here on YouTube. Very least, and it's free. All you got to do is like this video, share it with your friends, Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you toggle that notification bell to ensure you get notified anytime I put up a new video or go live. And I will see all of you in the next video.